Hey guys, check it out. This is the brand new 2026 Nissan Leaf, and I have a love-hate relationship with this car because this is really the first electric car that was mass produced. And I went on the very first launch of this car, well, it must have been 15 years ago, and I'll tell you a story about that. What happened was I wanted to drive the car from Nissan's headquarters in Franklin, Tennessee to, I think it was a Jim Beam distillery, and that was like 65 miles. And at that time, the Leaf had a range of 72 miles, and Nissan wouldn't let me do it because the car didn't have enough range. And that's kind of been the story of the Leaf. It was first, but it was never really where the market was. And it didn't take much more time for Tesla to come along and have a car, the Model 3, that had a range of almost 300 miles. And finally today, here we have a Nissan Leaf that has the latest and greatest tech. So in this video, we're gonna go look at this, we're gonna talk about the styling, we're gonna talk about like the tech that it has, and then we're gonna tell you how fast it charges, go through all the numbers, and at the end, I'll tell you how much all this goodness costs. So let's get started with the new look. Do you like it? I kind of do. I especially like this color. I think it's very bold in a time when every car is silver, black, or gray. To see one that is kind of this beachy blue is really refreshing. Now, Nissan has changed the look of the front. They have kind of integrated all of their light signatures into one big smiley face. And in general, it looks like a happy Skittle. And the reason it looks like a happy Skittle is, of course, electric cars, just like real estate, are about range, range, and range. And in this case, the Skittle look makes it much more aerodynamic. So it makes it much more capable of going, in this case, 303 miles of range if you get the right form of this car. Now, the other thing that makes it a little bit more interesting is down here, there are active grille shutters which open and close, which make it even more aerodynamic. But the one thing, and this is kind of a thing that distinguishes great electric cars from regular electric cars, is the frunk. Because if you can package the car in such a way that there is room under the hood to put more stuff, then you've probably done a very good engineering job. So let's pop the hood and let's see the frunk. Or in this case, maybe not, because Nissan says that they have taken a lot of their HVAC controls and put it in the frunk, so we do not have a frunk. The good news is that it does open up more space in the interior of the car. Now, the reason that the Leaf was not quite ready for prime time back in the day is because of the battery management system. The Leaf never had climate controlled batteries, so if you lived in a place like Phoenix where it got really hot, the batteries would get really hot and you would lose range, and over time you would lose effectiveness of batteries. Guess what? We now have climate controlled batteries, so that this car should have a much better longevity when it comes to battery technology, which is wonderful. Now, the odd thing, come on over here, I'll show you, is this. It has not one, check it out, let's come around the other side, but two charging ports. And you may be asking yourself, why are there two charging points? And of course, that is a NACS adapter, which stands for North American Charging Standard, which is the Tesla standard. And I'm asking that myself too, but basically you have AC and DC charging. In other words, fast charging and slow charging, which is a little confusing because what can happen is if you're at a Tesla charger and you plug it in on this side, then you're gonna get fast charging. But if you plug it in on that side, you're gonna get a little warning light saying that it can't charge, because that is the slow charging side. I don't know why Nissan chose to go from CHAdeMO, which was the standard back in the day, to NACS, which is now the modern standard, in other words, the Tesla standard, and why they decided to do two charging ports, but I think it's gonna create some confusion. But that's what you have. You have AC, DC chargers on either side. Now, in terms of size, I think the Nissan Leaf is a little bit more, it's a little bit bigger. It competes with the Niro or the Kona EVs. And this is a very good size. Nissan says it's gone from more of a crossover to more of a crossover shape. You know, what is a crossover versus a wagon? I don't know. To me, it's very good looking, especially in this color. The other thing that's new is they've gone with these more modern deployable door handles, which retract. The good news about that is, of course, that it makes the car much more aerodynamic. The bad news is if these bad boys stop working, and if they stop working on the driver's side, you're going to have a hard time getting into the car. Why don't you come around and let's show them the inside. Now, the inside is unique. Unlike a Tesla, you do have a power button. Nissan says the reason for that is because people like to be in a traditional non-electric car, and so it's much easier to make the shift to electric if there is a power button. I kind of like not having a power button, but that is, obviously personal preference. You also have these very interesting seats that are made of interesting non-leather. Nissan says that these are recyclable to some extent, or made of at least 60% recyclable materials. I'm not sure that leather is such a horrible thing. I do like the Bose audio speakers right here in the headrest. That allows you to, let's say, listen to navigation instruction while your passenger listens to music. There are now two big, I think these are 14-inch screens, and you do have this really cool sunroof on the top end model, and I can kind of dim it. And can you see it on camera as it's dimming? Thank you. So it's got this photochromatic light sensing way of opening and closing. I've seen this for the first time on a Porsche Taycan, and it's kind of cool that the technology that started out the first time I saw it on a Porsche is now in a Nissan. It's actually really cool, and I think that's good. In terms of kind of size, I fit very comfortable in here. I'm 6'2", and as you can tell, even with the sunroof, I have plenty of headroom, plenty of shoulder room. We do have some real buttons, especially for the transmission push button. You do have different modes of driving that you can personalize, from eco to standard, to sport over here, to personal. And then there are, I think, 5 different regen levels. Well, e-stop, this is basically one pedal driving. Haptic controls over here for the HVAC. Lots of different cameras. So you do have, obviously, Nissan pioneered the 360-degree look, so you can see what's behind you, what's next to you, what's in front of you. Also a nice feature. Over here is a clear energy meter, so we've got 208 miles of range left, power usage, real controls for the headlights, including auto, traditional wipers, heads-up display. I love this fabric right there. It's a really nice touch. In general, I think Nissan has done a really good design of both the exterior and interior to make the car look both modern and fresh, and yet still kind of keep that Nissan heritage. Now, the question, of course, that I'm asking myself is, will I fit in the back? Let's go find out. So once again, flush door handles. I'm sitting behind myself here. This is where I drive, and it's a little bit tighter. As you guys probably know, we own the current Leaf. We leased it, forget this, $9 a month, because what happens in Colorado is a lot of the car manufacturers, and I'm using air quotes here, dump cars into Colorado because we get both the federal tax incentive and the state tax incentive. At one point, we got up to $5,000 in state and $7,500 federal. And so that's why we could lease our Leaf for $9 a month. Actually hits my credit card, and it's like less than you'd spend on a coffee. It's kind of crazy. So I'm sure that's not going to be the case with this new Leaf, at least not right away. But it is nice to have a vehicle that now feels much more modern and doesn't feel like it's a budget electric car. Here we have actually heated seats in the back, and USB-C ports, and HVAC as well. I believe, look at that, cup holders and an armrest. I wouldn't want to go cross country in this vehicle, but I could certainly go to lunch in the back seat. Speaking about going cross country, now that it has access to Google everything, so it's basically Google powered, the Google operating system works with the car to do route planning, which of course Tesla has had forever, but now the Leaf does it, and of course steers you to whatever charging station is closest. And in this case, because it uses the Tesla stations, you've got access to thousands, dare I say tens of thousands of superchargers around the country, making road tripping this thing pretty easy. It actually charges quicker than the Aria, which is the bigger electric Nissan. So it's got a top charging range of about 150 kilowatts. And this bad boy, let me look at my notes here, has a battery that is, I want to get it exactly right. I don't want to get this wrong. Let's see here. Has a battery that is, let's see, where's my notes? And it's 75 kilowatt hours, and there is a smaller battery that you can get in the baser models that's coming that's going to be 52 kilowatt hours. So 305 miles of range when it's fully charged, a 0.26 coefficient of drag, and a heat pump, which is cool because a heat pump tells me that the engineers have actually thought about making it much more efficient. All right, let's look at the back and see how much room we have here in the back. So, of course, it's electric. Pop the back, and you have a good amount of room, 80-20 split for the rear seats, and a little bit of a cubby down here for hiding anything that's important to you, which is nice. Now, there are, as there are in many new vehicles, Easter eggs everywhere, and one of the coolest Easter eggs, I will show you as soon as I close this, is right here. So the taillights have these 3 little lights over here. Actually, I'm going to hit the brake to show you. So let me hit the brake because you can then see them, and then I'll explain why it is the way it is. So I'm going to start it up. There you go. Did they light up? Are we good? So, good, they lit up. So you'll see that there are 3 little oval shapes here and then 2 little oval shapes there. And I guess in Japanese, DAT for, ni, which is the word for 3 in Japanese. And if I get this wrong, I'm sorry, Japanese folks, I don't speak Japanese, but ni is 3 and san is 2. So 3, 2, Nissan, you get it? Nissan. And apparently that 3-2 combination of lighting is everywhere throughout this car. Overall, I have to say, I think that Nissan has done a great job in updating what at one point was kind of a base entry level car and making it much more efficient, much more stylistically interesting, and much more desirable. Now, the one thing that you may be wondering is how much is all this Leaf goodness? Starts at about $28,000 destination and delivery, which have been or is a way for manufacturers to up the cost is $14.95. So you're really looking at the base car starting at about $30,000, and all in on this top end model, we're looking at $42,000. So it starts at about 30, goes up to about 42. Now, how will that compare with the upcoming and re-engineered Bolt, which will compete against this directly? Hard to say, but I think that Nissan has done a really good job in updating a car that was kind of the budget electric car into something that is desirable and not just something that is being sold based on price. You may be wondering, Roman, how does this car drive? Well, driving impressions are embargoed, and so this is just my first look and my first walk around, and that video will be up at alltfl.com. So thank you very much for joining me. As always, this is Roman saying I will see you next time, and thank you Nissan for letting me drive this car, and more to come. Ciao.